Hello everybody and welcome to the Fresh Connection. I'm the Strategy Director and I have the pleasure to introduce the Fresh Connection and its current challenges to you. By moving around the four colored boxes, you can move from sales to operations to purchasing to supply chain and back to sales. For each role, you will see that the teams reporting to you have created a top-level comment on the right-hand side. In case of sales, here's ROI, which gets a big cross. This is unacceptable. The company is making a loss. Measures must be quickly engaged. As you will see in a minute, this is only a mild statement. If you do not act fast, this company spins out of control. You need to turn those crosses into fat green ticks. At the bottom of each of the screens, you will find a bit more detail on three specific KPIs. In case of sales, these are gross margin, turnover and service level. You also see a comparison to the average performance of all the other teams. In round one, you will obviously find that all the teams have the same starting point. You're all in deep trouble. So, please study the top-line warnings for each of the functions. You can see all of them for the other roles as well as your own. Now, you must be wondering how to sort this mess out. First, really, you should dig a bit deeper. Over here, you can see the links to each of your individual functional roles. If you click on Finance, this is what you will see. It's a fairly basic profit and loss statement. And for several of the line items, it's possible to drill down to see more detail. For stock costs, for example, you can get a breakdown into interest costs, charge for the working capital, space cost, and the cost of obsolescence. Please study all of these items in detail, because you may find that your customers are not so happy, or your purchasing costs are too high. Working this way, you may find many of the reasons behind your problems. Note that the little eyes will help you understand the terminology. Let's now view one of the functions in more detail. Let's see what's going on with our customers first. Sales Director, you see that the screen is divided in half. On the left-hand side, you see historical information, both the trends on KPIs and some reports relevant for each role. On the right-hand side of the screen, you will find your decision windows, where you are expected to enter the decisions you made for the coming round. And this structure is the same for all the roles. In the sales role, you find 3 customers initially. For each of these customers, you have a screen that shows the terms you agreed with the customer. And by pressing yes on the negotiate line, you are able to renegotiate some or in later rounds all of the contract terms. For example, service level and shelf life, as shown here. Once you've adjusted your terms, press Calculate and see what happens to your price index as a consequence. A higher price index means that you will be getting a better price for your products. A lower price index means that the customer will be paying you less. If you want to accept, please press Deal to sign your contract. From sales, we move to operations. The Operations Director is responsible for managing inbound processes and warehousing, the mixing and filling, and the outbound warehouse. I suggest you have a real good look at the situation, because the previous operations manager seemed to have been a little bit lazy and certainly did not coordinate well with his colleagues. The flow through the operation looks rather inefficient to me now. From operations, we move to purchasing. The purchasing manager is responsible for all suppliers. By reviewing the supplier market, he needs to ensure that we have at least one suitable supplier for each component that is required in production. If a component is missing, the product cannot be produced. Please ensure that you control costs and all service aspects of your suppliers as well. Selecting new or alternative suppliers is done in the Supplier Market tab. A negotiation with an existing supplier can be initiated by pressing yes at the negotiate line for the suppliers listed on the Agreements tab. And once you've calculated an acceptable price index, do not forget to save to sign the deal. So, let's look at supply chain. This role is managing inventories and lead times, essentially. It's key to managing the interfaces in the Fresh Connection. Please note that at the outset, your focus should be at understanding the setup and how this role interfaces with the others. The number of decisions you make initially is limited. Really, I need you to think before you act. Wow, I'm worried we are taking time. I want to give you my latest insights before I hand over. Team, I'm going to rely on you. Please treat the first round as your first few months in a new job. Focus on the big issues. Don't get lost in the detail. I had some consultants do an audit and they gave you one hint. Basically, deliver what you promise your customers. In the Fresh Connection, customers are interested in delivery service, product availability and the freshness of the product. And your support of the promotions. Whatever the package, what you promise them needs to be delivered. Because if you don't, you may get penalties or your demand may be reduced because the customers turn elsewhere. There's much more to do, team. Sort it out. The Fresh Connection supply chain is in disarray. Set a strategy, coordinate and implement. Now, I have to go see our friend Bob, the CEO, and I wish you best of luck.